Hello and welcome, SpeedGaming, to another great race here in the Crystalis Randomizer tournament. I am Magic alongside Dragon Dark today. And we got a great match here between Gozengatta and crossproduct. Gozen is actually a relatively new racer here to our community. So he's just come on board and he's picked up the game in quick, short order and gotten himself up to a pretty respectable level. Cross, meanwhile, he's been around since the beginning, and he's quite an experienced randomizer player as a whole. So we should be seeing a pretty strong race here between the two of them.
Not just a strong player, he's also made a number of trackers for different randomizers, including this very game.
This is true. Yeah, Cross did make the first tracker that we had available to us on the Emo Tracker platform, and he's done some great work here within the community, so this is going to be a fun. So it looks like they're still getting set here in the SRL channel. I think Cross is just getting readied up, and we should be going here in about 10 seconds. So here in the Swiss format, we're going to be seeing a sword right off the bat. You want to go ahead and throw out a guess as to what swords they're going to start with?
I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna guess we're getting Thunder right out of the gate.
Okay, yep, that's a strong guess. I have seen quite a few Thunder starts. Water seems to be the most common with this flag set because it opens up some extra checks right off of the bat. But Thunder's a good guess. It does mean that they're going to have probably a quicker time over on the western side of the map. So we'll see what they get here. First item of the day is a consumable.
I wouldn't complain about an early magic ring. Fire today. Fire. I was wrong.
Yeah, no, fire. Fire's going to start them both off here, getting the access, once they grab a ball of fire, to both Cordell Plains as well as the Waterfall Cave, which they're going to be able to use some different glitches to be able to fully navigate. Checking both of the ship.
Yeah, I'm guessing we're going to see a ball of fire here, probably off the Queen, or maybe we'll see a windmill key. And the item will come off of the right in front of the windmill when the cave.
Absolutely, this board here is hunting.
These birds are, especially in this room. It's very likely when you come, like that mosquito we just saw fly by. That they have a tendency to just nail you as you come out of the poison swamp there.
Yeah, they seem to angle like that. Cross taking the mosquito to the face. You called it.
I've had it happen so many times now, I just expect it.
So the NPC that they are currently talking to repeatedly and clipping their way through is actually considered a statue NPC, which you normally aren't supposed to be able to get through. Okay.
Light.
We have a flight start here. So there's a couple of interesting things that they can do. For starters, they can go right back into the waterway and get an extra check right off the bat in the waterway. Secondly, because of that's going to give them an extra item, which is either going to be a ball or that windmill key. But they could also use the new glitch that was recently discovered, and they could actually unlock both Asina and Messia. I'm sorry, Asina and the Dolphin.
I did call it. It was the windmill key in the canal there.
Most definitely.
So what we're probably going to see them both do here, Gozen's going over to grab Joel as a warp point here, which is a pretty smart play. Joel's kind of out of the way, and it's useful to have it active right from the get-go. But what we're going to see here is they're both going to head straight towards that windmill. They're going to grab the item. They can't do anything in Vampire Cave, though. So they're going to need to... the item's going to be like the ball of fire, or we're going to have to see... I don't know.
Sword of Wind and the ball. There are 3 chests that are available. So Granted, they can't finish the cave, but they do have access to the 3 items that are in there.
Oh, that's right. I keep thinking of randomized maps where I get blocked in like the second room.
I know we got a lot of different logics to keep track of here. So yeah, they do have they do have 3 chests that are available here right off the bat. No wild warp. That actually is a slight time loss over wild warping while the cave is exploding. Because then you have to eat the animation there with no movement and, being able to get closer. So it just costs a little bit of time.
Have you actually timed that?
I tested it yesterday. It actually is slightly faster because what happens is when you come back over to the cave is exploding, but you can walk up to it and grab the item that's out in front because that trigger is now active. So it does end up being very slightly fast.
Huh. I hadn't actually timed it. I was just doing it because I don't like it.
That invisible slime hiding down in the wall there. Yeah, so they both grab an iron necklace. The iron necklace is an item that actually doubles the effectiveness of your worn armor. So while Cross has that equipped right now, it's actually doing nothing as it currently stands. I noticed neither one of them made a checkpoint here.
Oh,
Gozen. Right as I mentioned that, Gozen goes ahead does it.
The thing is, Gozen knew what was in here. He knew there was flail eyes and that hidden slime.
Yeah. Cross, meanwhile, able to navigate no problems, not getting poisoned, and navigating these ice golems. Those are absolutely never worth killing. Ball of water.
Water, huh?
This is a tease of a seed.
There's gonna be a sword somewhere. I mean, we're either gonna see ball of fire or orb of water somewhere. Change! Okay, now they have access to the Goa region.
Yeah, absolutely, because now that they have flight and change, they can fly across the ocean to Swan, and then they can use change to get through the soldiers that are there, so they have Goa. But we still don't have a way to break any walls yet, which is very interesting.
Blizzard bracelet! Okay. So, I think their only option right now is actually to cross the ocean.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's something else that's really funny. If we happen to find a barrier spell in quick order on the other side, as well as a water sword, that's going to put Mado in logic. We might actually be seeing a very early Mado fight.
What? No, that's with these flags. They still need Sword of Thunder to trigger the massacre.
Oh, that's right, huh? Got it.
Yeah, we're thinking on like 3 versions ahead of where we're at right now.
You're not wrong.
But yeah, they need a Sword of Thunder and the barrier spell in order to put Mado in logic at this point. Looks like Gozen is gonna go talk to Zebu first, though, and I think he thought he could get through the wall here because he charged up at the very start and then stopped for a moment, like, oh, right.
Well, it is going to still provide him with, a check later on. If he ends up getting to Cordell Plains, through the Windsword way, he can go and trigger the kidnapping from the backside if they would happen to get teleport and telepathy. So that there is still reasons for doing that. It does eat a little bit of time. Cross, forgetting that you can no longer stab monsters while flying, has trying to stab that octopus to no avail.
Yeah, that was a change we made pretty early on in the randomizer, mostly because flight kind of cheapens combat if you have it and you just stab everything, since you're basically invulnerable except to projectiles. So we kind of decided, let's make it so you can't hit things while flying. That just makes combat a little more interesting, at least.
Yeah, it's already the strongest defensive ability in the game for like 95% of the monsters. It shouldn't also be the strongest offensive ability. Not to mention it grants you access to literally everywhere. Cross burning his magic ring because he didn't have any cash to be able to use it in there. But slipped off the door there and talked to the guards who just opened the gate for him, and they recognized him and were not happy.
Yeah, I think we've all done that at least once.
Absolutely. So Gozen hot on Cross's trail here.
Yeah, Cross already activated Go as a warp point. Looks like he's going to head down to Oasis Cave and grab the leather boots check. And probably the battle armor and the other. That's right. With flight, you can actually grab 3 checks in here. So this is actually not a bad play at all.
He's also got Carmine's Basement, which looks like he's going to skip Oasis Cave and go straight for the 5 items. Make that 6 checks since he grabbed that ivory statue right there.
Nope, does look like he actually wants to check Oasis Cave real quick.
Changed his mind. He's all over the place. Gozen also getting through the gate guards now.
Now, the nice thing about Oasis Cave is that very first room, the one with the red floors, that counts as a checkpoint. So if none of the items he finds in here are worth anything, he can just reset and go back to the checkpoint without having to walk all the way back out. But he might want to hold on to those warp boots.
Yeah, he has so far seen a Mimic and a pair of warp boots, so no progression. He does have one more check he can make there at the battle armor spot on the island. Gozen looks like he's going for Sahara. Now, this is a play I'll make. I always prefer to hit Sahara first. They do have change, so that's going to give them access to the Dio check, and they're also going to be able to get the 3 items in the pyramid, so that's a strong spot. I missed what Cross got there. What was that?
I was looking over at Gozen with the fact that he had no MP.
That was a ball of fire. So now Cross has access to the Waterfall Cave as well as the Cordell Plains area, and he's choosing to go ahead and go back rather than finishing out the basement and going and hitting Sahara. So we have a route divergence here. This will be interesting.
Well, he does have that pair of warp boots, so it wouldn't be difficult for him to get back there, thankfully. Oh, Gozen, everything in here is poisonous.
Gotta watch yourself. They're not particularly nice.
Looks like Cross is actually trying to get a little bit of cash.
I don't blame him. He couldn't even hit an in.
I mean, at 9 scaling, you can actually pretty reasonably hit level 2. You can get some okay money out of the enemies, so it's actually a reasonable time to start. Oh! Look over at Gozen and the spider hitbox. It said no.
Every single Crystalis runner has done that many, many times. The hitbox on those spiders is actually on the bottom half. So it's basically from the eyeball down, and he was trying to stab the top part of it, which isn't a hitbox, and the spider walked right into his face. Not surprised to see... Oh,
this spider. At this point, I would just let the spider be 2-0, and you just run off and leave him to his victory.
Right. I'm in full agreement at this point. But you know what it is? It's that he's got 28 experience, and he wants that level. That's what he's going for here. He wants to be able to get that level because it's going to get him an extra 17 HP, and it's also going to provide him with an extra point of damage, which will make the dragon fight slightly faster. So I know his reasoning behind it, but it's that was a little bit of time lost there.
It's unfortunate, though, that you don't get MP when hitting level 2, because that would have... Ooh, wow! Ooh. Well, then. That's a good start. That's a Bow of Sun. That's one of the items we need to finish the game. And that's 2 out of 3. 2 out of 4 at this point.
Right, yeah, he's halfway there, so this was a good play for him. So, Cross, if you happen to notice, got petrified while flying through that cave there by a Medusa. Physics don't work properly in this game, and when you're flying, if you get stoned, you'll just keep on flying. Goes and taking a death to Dragon. Dragon has an extremely easy AI loop to exploit. Takes just a couple of rounds of practice to figure it out, but he's got probably one of the easiest AI loops, and it looks like Gozen here is not quite aware of that AI loop.
It's not so much the AI loop. The lightning has some wonky hitboxes to it. You have to be like way above where it is for it to not actually hit you by accident.
Sword of Water.
Well, that's... I mean, they already have flight, so water isn't really opening anything outside of the rage check.
Well, so it's gonna open the rage check. It's gonna open the Mado, as far as bosses is concerned. If they're able to get that Sword of Thunder, it's going to put Mato 1 into Logic, and if they can get a Ball of Thunder, it's going to put Mato 2 into Logic. So, not everybody's favorite boss into Logic really early. Dragon tried to exit stage right. Getting a Sacred Shield from Rage over on Cross's side. Now he's going to go and check to see what Asina and the Dolphin are holding for him.
Now, my play right at this moment would be you just got that Sacred Shield. You're at 11 scaling. That thing is going to sell for a ton of cash. I would instantly be pawning that thing.
It's not a bad play. It's going to essentially take care of all of their money issues for the rest of the seed. And so I can't say it's a bad play. As the lightning screen wrapped over there on Gozen's side. Ooh, as you were talking about, wonky hitbox on the lightning. He gets zapped, and he's not even close to where the lightning actually was showing.
Yeah, I've learned the hard way. You have to be kind of careful about where you stand with this, because that lightning, the hitbox is just way bigger than you would think it is.
Yeah, the easiest way to deal with Dragon is you go and you stab him in the back of the cape. Then when he goes up to the top of the screen, you just walk back in front of him. You're totally safe in the center. And then he'll immediately charge right back straight down on you. And you can just abuse that AI loop forever. And it makes him the least threatening boss in the entire game, because there's no way for him to be able to damage you at that point. And all you have to do is just make sure that you're following the same movement. You want to aim for the back of his cape, which is where his hitbox still is active, and that'll make him a quick... He has another interesting thing about him regarding his iframes. Want to talk about that?
You mean as in he doesn't have any?
He is the only enemy in the entire game that does not have any iframes whatsoever. As a result of that, every frame that your sword is within his hitbox, you will do damage to. So cross-checking Asina, and now checking the Dolphin.
Oh, good. He did remember to pick up a medical herb, and he trades it for a Fruit of Power.
Oh,
I don't mind seeing Fruit of Power.
Fruit of Power is not bad, but we're looking for progression at this point, because really, I mean, even though he got that Sword of Water, he got an extra 3 checks there, and none of them were progression. But he is going to check Brokahana since he picked up that ivory statue, who also is holding on to a consumable.
At least he gave out Warp Boots, which are probably the most useful early game item.
Yeah, they have a pretty prohibitive cost. They have been nerfed over time. To try to make it so that they're not quite as prohibitive as the game goes on, but they are absolutely being like the strongest consumable item you can buy outside of magic rings. Their cost is very high. Cross is now making his way over to Sahara.
He, however, is going to have a much easier time with Dragon, given that he's got Sword of Water with the bracelet. So he's going to have a lot higher attack power, so we should actually see it go down quite a bit faster. Not to mention, he's got armor as well, along with a shield. Yeah,
he's armed to the teeth at this point. Another consumable with another check. The game wants them to go into the basement of Goa right now, clearly.
Not a bad idea, given how many checks are down there.
Right, you got 5 checks right off the bat, and one of them is inevitably going to be that Sword of Thunder that's going to kick them right out of the dungeon. With any amount of luck, it'll be the first chest they open, so they have to backtrack all the way back there. Gozen deciding to play it much safer, using a second medical herb. This might be the fight.
He's being a lot more cautious with where he stands.
Yeah, definitely. He did take a bop there. One more hit away from death. There we go.
Let's hope Azteca has something better. Nope. Oh.
So we've taken 5
I am
minutes.
feeling so bad for him right now.
5 minutes of fighting Dragon to be rewarded with a pair of less than stellar consumables. That is beautiful. Now, Cross here should just absolutely crush him.
Cross's scaling is a little bit higher, though, so that might make a difference. But, yeah, he can take... Yeah, there we go, right there.
Yeah, at this point, the Water Sword's doing 8 damage a hit. He's level 4, so that adds 4, and then stabbing it adds another 2. So he would be stabbing him for 14 damage every frame, minus whatever Dragon's defense is currently. So, yeah, his amount of damage output was basically exponential compared to what Gozen was doing.
So I'm guessing...
He's heading straight for that basement.
Yeah, I figured Gozen was going to head for Oasis Cave right after that. Looks like Cross, however, is going to make a detour. Oh, no. Looked like he was heading over towards Mount Hydra, but I guess he's heading down towards Goa Basement.
Never mind, he just got lost.
Or it looked like he might have been trying to kill that bat. One of the two.
All of the above.
Now, Mount Hydra, he could just go straight to Shyren, which it looks like that is what he's going to do. He's going to fly over to Shyren and get Zebu's item. But he also could start climbing it. There's one item right near the entrance. It's actually a really quick check. And it doesn't require anything to get to it, as long as you have access to the Goa region in some capacity. Calling it now, Zebu's going to have the Sword of Thunder.
That'd be great. Ooh, look at that, a battle shield. That is the best shield in the game as far as defense is concerned. It doesn't have any secondary effects, but it does have the highest straight armor value. It caps out at level 12 and provides 36 defense if you're able to, get your hands on it. But it is very expensive early in the game. But that cost does drop as time goes on. Don't do it, Gozen!
Yep, Gozen came at it from the bottom, though, which meant the Mimic was not going to hit him right off the bat. Cross, talking to Zebu, found a Orb of Wind.
Very nice for that sword that they're still looking for. Gozen wants to farm this Mimic.
I can't say I fully blame him. Like, he doesn't have the Sacred Shield yet, and the Mimics are worth a lot of money when you... even at low scaling, they're worth quite a bit.
Yeah, that was 270 gold, it looked like. So that'll definitely take care of his inn problems. I missed what Cross got over there on the first chest in Hydra, but he's heading into the second cave of the Bow of Sun location, where there is a second chest that he's able to get without the Sword of Wind, which is normally what's required to get through there. So we'll see what he's got here. Hopefully this is his progression. Otherwise... he's going to be following Gozen here into Carmine's basement real fast. I noticed Cross is being really careful and wanting to kill a lot of these enemies. The money is good, but I think he's since he has a couple of swords, and access to some things, he's probably wanting to make sure he's got enough power to be able to take down these bosses. We have a gas mask in Carmine's basement.
No, that would help him if he could get over to Brynmare.
Oh, well, he can. He just doesn't realize it yet. Eyeglasses.
Eyeglasses? That's... he has access to Joel, but doesn't have an alarm flute yet.
Yeah, so not quite in logic. Oh, there it is. Sword of Thunder. Oh, no.
At the very least, that was the last chest he needed to pick up.
Correct.
So yeah, I'm hoping Cross does it in the opposite order and gets the sword first.
Of course we would be hoping for that. Why not? But Cross is opting to... he's going to check out Cordell Plain. I don't believe he's been there yet. Yeah, no, he hasn't. He hasn't. So this is a new set of checks we're going to be seeing here. Gozen did pick up his ball of fire. And he's got the Sword of Thunder.
Okay, it was the prison key that they picked up. That was picked up in Hydra.
Ah!
Not terribly helpful right now because they don't have a way to deal with Kelbesk just yet. But if they can find that Sword of Wind, they can come in from the backside of Mount Saber North, which opens up 5 checks actually if you can beat Kelbesk. Though Kelbesk himself wouldn't be in logic unless they can find the bracelet.
Ooh, that was quite a reset there from Gozen. You know, getting poisoned. Poison in this game never goes away unless you cure it somehow or get another status effect to override it. So that was fairly deep in Hydra there to have to reset out. But he does have to go back because he wants that prison key.
Meanwhile, we got Cross heading towards the North Cave on Saber South.
Yeah, this normally holds the Tornado Bracelet. And once with a full shuffle here, you know, this is just an easy, quick check.
It's a good one to reset out of, too. If you find nothing of value up here, you can just make a checkpoint at the beginning of Mount Saber South and not have to walk all the way back.
And it's a consumable.
It's a consumable.
Burning a magic ring, not sure I agree with that. I would much prefer to chuck that Lysis plant or medical herb that he had myself. But hey, I don't have the controller in my hand.
Yeah, that Lysis plant would have been my first choice, too.
I mean, with the power that magic rings provide, you're going to want those things to be saved for the end of the game when you have large amounts of NP, and you're going to be using the largest amounts of NP when you're in the tower or fighting, you know, like the final bosses. So hanging on to those magic rings is something, you know, try not to burn early in the game where their value is greatly lessened compared to something like a Fruit of Power.
I mean, I did completely understand when he burned one in Swan, trying to so he could use change because he didn't have the money for the inn. I don't think he wanted to go back and farm right at that point.
No, I completely agree with that as well. That was the smart play at that point. Ball of Thunder. So Gozen now having the Sword and Ball of Thunder, that's gonna put oh god, that's gonna put Mato 2 in logic. Once he gets a hold of his Sword of Water.
He should probably be... Well, he doesn't have Barrier yet.
It wouldn't matter. He doesn't have to go through the front door, and there's no barrier statues on the backside. So, you know, this at this point is putting Mato 2 in logic once he gets his hands on that Sword of Thunder. So, once he goes to Waterfall Cave to get the Sword of Water...
yeah, it would put Mato 2 in logic. Mato 1, however, which is what I thought you were referring to.
No, Mato 2 is going to have another 5 checks behind him as well.
Yeah.
And Sabera too, which technically isn't in logic, but, you know, at low enough scaling here like they have, I'd take her on with the ball.
Oh, yeah, I would too.
Yeah, I wouldn't be afraid of Sabera 2 at low scaling. Now, if it was 45 scaling and I only had the ball, I might think once or twice about it, because her defense value is gigantic.
I'd still do it.
I mean, if you had to.
I don't claim that I'm smart either.
No, Gozen did not have Barrier. Oh, he does have Barrier. Where
the heck did he get that? We must have missed
it.
Okay,
maybe
well,
Hydra?
when he finds that Sword of Water, that puts Mato 1 in logic.
Yeah. God, it's going to put both Matos in logic. He's going to trigger the Massacre here, and he's going to... I don't know why he would go through the front door. I guess he just wants to activate the Massacre?
Not sure.
I mean, maybe he's just opening the door for later since he's there, but there's no chests inside of Goa 1, so there would be no reason to go in there. This game moves so fast that trying to watch 2 players in completely different areas and keep track of everything can be a big challenge.
Just a little bit.
Compared to a number of other randomizers, just the speed at which players move through this game and how quickly you can get in and out of places really makes this a very speedy game by comparison to a lot of others, where the player just doesn't move nearly as fast. And those flail guys just mauling Gozen there.
Flail guys they're that one enemy that you know they're on the map the moment the map loads. You hear the sound effect, and that's never the sound effect you want to hear.
No, it's not. We get to see what's in Aurelius's basement here. And Gozen going for the power ring location, so we're going to get to see what's...
Well, he will be when he remembers the path to it. This cave, if you're not super familiar with the maps, this cave is a little difficult to navigate.
It's a giant loop, essentially, is what it is. It's a couple of, concentric circles that are around, and, there's a couple of pathways that go between them. Flame Bracelet. Go.
That will put Severa 2 in logic. When he finds that sort of water, that's going to put like most of Goa Fortress in logic for him, because Carmine's already in logic. Nato 2 will be in logic when he finds water, and now that he has fire and the bracelet, that would put Severa in logic as well. That opens up everything except for Kelbask at the front.
Cross happened to find Aurelius's pet mimic down there in the basement. This lady keeps deadly treasure chests to keep men out of her basement. And he finds
I can't
found a pair of rabbit boots at the Kaladan spot. The Kaladan spot is aptly named for Kaladan, who famously in a race with a whole bunch of people just completely alienated that Czech the entire game and was unable to finish a race because he just didn't realize he never went. That's normally where the Onyx statue is in the base game. So it's a check that is available as soon as you get onto Cordal Plains. So to forget that is why we have a couple of chests with new names. Gozen going after Carmine here.
No, that Medusa had other ideas.
Yeah.
And this is why you make a checkpoint at the top of this room instead of the bottom.
A high five here as they go across the pink, bubbly... I don't even know what this is.
Yeah, this sprite is... that particular terrain is not reused anywhere else in the game. So I don't really know what they were going for with it. I'm guessing it just had to do with like probably sprite palettes and just not being able to put like actual spikes in that room because of the floor color or something.
Yeah, it could be. The way that the pattern tables and tile sets work in this game, they probably just didn't have, the spikes accessible. We got Gorgardi and Medusa again.
Gets it down that time.
Cross is about to get kicked out because he's going to find his Sword of Thunder really quick.
Is he going to go up? Oh, he wants some Medusa. Looks like he's maybe trying to get a level out of this?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. So Carmine here is a boss that has a very specific pattern. He follows the exact same movements every time. Another relatively non-threatening boss, especially with...
The only randomness to Carmine, though, is where his shots end up going. He could choose to do a slime beam, or he could fire those fireballs that bounce off the walls there, and those are actually random. And he has basically a 50-50 shot of doing slime beam or those every time he decides to stop. But his movement pattern and where he stops every time is 100% fixed. So he's very predictable, and looks like Gozen gets him down without any trouble this time around. And gets a consumable for his troubles.
A double consumable.
Oh! I would be going into my inventory and throwing that out immediately.
As would I, and I am actually disappointed to not see him throw it on the ground and jump up and down with the flight 4 times on top. Because that's what I would do.
The Fruit of Lime, I mean, it cures... So... For those who aren't familiar with this game, the Fruit of Lime cures petrification, which is a not terribly common status ailment to begin with. And it wears off on its own, so you don't usually have to burn it.
And if you happen to stab your sword towards the target that petrified you right before it petrified you, your sword hitbox is active, and the monster cannot run into you. So, oftentimes... utilizing petrification is just a great and safe way to remove more dangerous or obnoxious status effects, making the Fruit of Lime completely useless.
Someday it'll have its time to shine, but that day's not today.
No. Cross has a couple more checks here in Carmine's basement. Now that he's got that Sword of Thunder. Oh, but he doesn't have Barrier yet. That was on Hydra, I believe, on the north side in the Bow of Sun area. I think that's where Gozen picked it up.
I don't think it was, because I know it was Key to Prison at the start of it, and then I believe it was Orb of Wind was the other item way up that we could get. Everything else is blocked.
Did he get it in the pyramid? And we didn't see it? Like in the first chest?
No, because Cross got that same one. It was a consumable, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I haven't the foggiest where he got it then.
Oh, Gozen just picking up his Sword of Water. That puts all of Goa Fortress in logic except for Kelbass.
Oh, Barrier was on Kensu. Kensu was holding Barrier. When they used the ivory statue to cure him of the Nooper curse, that was when that was where he got the Barrier spell. So Cross has it, as we can see.
That makes sense.
Yeah, he just got it.
The other problem with trying to track this game isn't just with how fast everything moves, it's that the text boxes are just dismissed almost instantly. So you have to really pay attention.
And if you've ever seen something like the A Link to the Past tracker, the Crystalis number of items to track is like twice as big. So that's why we don't keep track of everything. We keep track of the core things that are necessary to finish the game. Gozen, after picking up the Sword of Water, is going to go make his rage check, and he's going to find all those consumables that are waiting for him.
Not before that bat decided to show him what his wing looked like. Well, then again, he did get a shield out of it.
Yes, but Asina and the Dolphin are both holding on to junk.
Yeah.
See, really going to Rage is, you get a nice item there, but you also, get 2 more checks immediately afterward, and that's what they're really interested in.
Looks like we've got Cross going to be heading down towards the NATO 2 fight.
It sure is. Gozen, meanwhile, meeting the mosquito there on the bridge again. That guy is the ultimate high fiver. Oh, he's 3 gold short of buying that pair of war boots.
Oh, yeah. So the items actually get more expensive as the game goes on. We have it set. It's set to match the scaling, so they will start at a fixed price and then just gradually go up in price. And the higher the scaling goes, the more those things are going to cost. And warp boots can get pretty expensive.
Yeah. So I noticed there on Gozen's side, he actually slowed his text down at Asina to find out that Recover is going to be what they're able to get once they get their hands on the golden statue, which you get from both the broken statue and the glowing lamp that repairs it. So Recover is buried on the Angry Sea. And look at Cross over here, smashing Mado 2 with that Blizzard bracelet, and he's rewarded with a power ring. He is extremely happy to see that.
I also don't blame him for making a checkpoint in that room, because nobody wants to lose the Mado fight.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. So the power ring is actually going to double the effectiveness of the current damage value of their swords. So when you have a base sword, you get 2 damage. When you get a ball, you get 4. And when you have a bracelet, you get 8. So at this point, adding that power ring on there is going to add an additional 8 damage to the swords as they're going to go through things. This means they're going to be chopping through boss defense like it's nothing. That's a nice mimic in the bottom right there of Mado's area.
This is why I approach every chest from the bottom now.
The bottom or the side. Ooh, getting paralyzed there. That may or may not come into play here.
Insect flute. I don't. Oh yeah, he does. He did find the gas mask, so that puts the giant insect in logic now.
Yeah, no one's made an oak run yet, so there is an extra check there at Stom's hut in Cordell Plains once they get to the.
There we go. Cross walking down into the in behind where Sabera 2 is. That actually counts as a checkpoint, so he's able to just reset and get rid of that paralysis, and now he can check both of these chests on the west side. Also getting some good use out of the rabbit boots here. Rabbit boots allowing you to charge while moving, which is not what their vanilla use is.
No, that's not what their vanilla use is at all. So the rabbit boots essentially just give you a 1-frame flight, allowing you to jump. But in the randomizer, we've added an effect that allows you to charge your sword while moving onto the rabbit boots. Basically, what the idea behind a number of those changes is that we want a number of the powerful items to not just be the only things that are used. So rabbit boots are going to get more use. You'll see the warrior ring, the power ring. Dio's pendant now functions while moving instead of standing still like the psycho armor does. With both the iron necklace and the shield ring were buffed, but they now are tied to equipment as opposed to just what your level is.
Yeah, still have some pretty good niche uses, though.
Definitely, yeah. If you find a shield ring early and a decent shield, and you get it like a key of Stixie, plow right through those statues. They're going to do very little damage to you, and it can totally take a check that you may be waiting a long time to go to and give you access to a number of additional areas right off. So in Cross's case, he is going to go ahead and fight Sabera 2 here with the fire, just the ball. Now, we know that this is actually an in-logic check because the flame bracelet is available, as Gozen already has. So this is technically an in-logic check, even though he doesn't realize it.
Yeah, as far as Cross is concerned, this is an out-of-logic check because he didn't find that flame bracelet yet. But with the power ring and low enough scaling, Sabera 2's defense will be low enough that he's actually going to cut right through it. There's a Carissa plant for his trouble. He can take that to Arillis back in Amazonas and turn that in and see what she wants to get. Hopefully
yeah, definitely.
Better than that mimic he found in the basement.
Yeah. Well, they already found the Fruit of Lime, so we know she's not going to have that. But she could have another useful consumable, like an antidote. Or she could be holding on to a bow. Ooh, that's an alarm flute there.
Gozen finding the alarm flute on top of Mount Saber South. I don't think Cross made it all the way up there.
Oh, he did.
Oh, he did?
He did. Yeah, that's going to put both the Windmill Guard in Leaf Valley, which is where we're seeing Gozen go right now, as well as those eyeglasses that they picked up there in Carmine's basement. There's another alarm flute check there as our buddy Kensu is passed out on the floor drunk. And how do you wake up a drunk person who's asleep? Well, you blow a horn in their ear, of course.
That's how I have to wake myself up every day. Ooh, cross-product finding the key to Stixie. With Flight, that is going to open up 6 full checks.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great find at this point.
And the Refresh spell, so now Cross has a way to heal himself that's not medical herbs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think he's trying to remember where this last chest is located. It's way, way over to the right.
Yeah, it's going to be all the way on the right side if you were to follow the wall to the bottom, but he may be forgetting that it's even there. Ooh, he's orphaning that check on the far right side.
He might have gotten it when we weren't looking either.
It's possible, but
because he was wandering around in there for a little while.
Yeah, kind of hard to say. Gozen, meanwhile, getting nothing off of Kensu there in the light. Kensu mentioning that Gozen should be eaten by zombies, and then he forks over a consumable. Good.
Yeah, Kensu's not our favorite wise man.
He might be the wisest of the wise men. I mean,
yeah, he's the one that tells us to go away every time. Cross, meanwhile, is doing exactly what we figured he was going to do. He's going straight to Stixie. There's just so many checks up here that you can't afford not to ignore this one.
Yeah, my thought is there's a really high chance he's going to come across his Sword of Wind in here. Because there's not a whole lot of other places that they can go at the moment outside of going to Oak, the Insect Flute, and Stomp's Hut. Because we've seen basically everything else.
I think Gozen's about to make the same play that Cross made. Ooh, there's Telepathy. That opens up everything in Oak. Nice mimic. Storm Bracelet. Right. Storm Bracelet's that item you really want to find, because now they know that the tower is going to be not anywhere near as bad as it could be without it.
Yeah, anytime that you can go into the tower with a Storm Bracelet, you're feeling pretty good. Gozen, meanwhile, looks like he's finally making his way back here towards Mato 2.
It looks like the Sword of Wind was at the axe chest.
Yep, I called it. I had a feeling it was going to be hiding out in here. There weren't too many other places, and there's a lot of wind-blocked areas at this point, so... They got the Fog Lamp Cave, the Carissa Plant Cave, the backside of the Vampire Cave. They have Mount Hydra on the bow, Sunside, and Spirit Island 1 and 2. So that's a lot of things that just opened up there for Cross. He basically has the entire game open to him at this point. They're now just hunting bows. Oh, man, that mimic.
These mimics are relentless. Going to Brynmare, he might be aiming to make the Oak checks at this point.
Buying a few extra pairs of Warp Boots here is only able to afford one, but he coughed up a Fruit of Power. I'm not exactly sure why. Or was that a Fruit of... No, that was the Fruit of Power.
That was a Fruit of Power. Gozen over here making short work of Mato too. Gets his power ring, so I'm sure he's very happy to see that.
Hey, and check that out. He actually saved Asina to be able to fully heal him after the kill. Most people will talk to Asina beforehand and get the full heal so that they're going into the fight fully prepared. And Gozen had enough resources that he was able to save that until after. Not a bad... Cross, meanwhile, heading into the Poison Swamp here for the first time. Looks like he was headed for the insect, but changed his mind, and he's walking into... I don't blame him for this. I expect him to, go and talk to the Oak Mom, and then he's going to go down, grab the kid, and then do the giant insect, so he can get the whole rest of the swamp done in one fell swoop.
Yep, I 100% agree with this play, although it seemed like he might have walked just one path too far, and he was actually trying to find Oak.
Very possible. Gozen, meanwhile, playing catch up here as he's heading through Mato 2's area. Getting harried by this flying plant.
Cross opting to take the kid into the insect fight with him.
Yeah, hey, he's the hero. You know, he can handle this. He knows what he's doing.
He might know what he's doing, but that death mosquito there probably has other ideas.
Yeah, that death mosquito is far more dangerous than the boss himself. In the base game, he actually does more damage and can kill you in 2 hits, whereas it takes 3 for the boss to kill you with his. So that mosquito is nasty. So it looks like the kid's not following him anymore, but he actually just stuffed him in his pocket. And he's going to throw him out here as soon as he gets into it.
Here, kid, I'll keep you safe. Get in.
Another consumable there from Mom. Thanks for helping out my kid. Here's garbage.
And from the Elder.
This game... It is wanting them to hundo this seed. That's what I'm seeing here.
I was wondering if he was going to go maybe backside of Vampire Cave. It looks like he's going to head down to Amazonas and turn in that Carissa.
Yeah, he also can walk up north and take care of Stomp's hut as well. He's got the warp boots to be able to do the teleport trick. So, you know, he could easily get that chest as Speed boots.
Ooh.
Aurelius coughs up a pair of speed boots.
Those are an item you always want to see early, rather than 47 minutes into the seed.
I mean, it doesn't matter whether you get it at 5 minutes in or 47 minutes in. You equip those things whenever you're not fighting enemies, because they increase your movement by a half a tile per step, and so you're getting a lot of extra speed as you're going through. What happens here is when one player gets a hold of a pair of speed boots and the other one doesn't, then every minute that goes by where the player does not have the speed boots, they're just getting further and further and further behind. And that's why, you know, this is such a big find for Cross at this point, because Gozen's got a ways to go before he's going to be able to make that check.
Well, he has the Carissa plan already. He actually could go do it right now.
So Gozen is hitting this chest. Now, he's heading over to it, the one that we think Cross may have missed. We'll see what's there. That'll tell us, you know, with a pretty good indication whether he got it or not.
Okay, yeah,
Well,
I actually remember seeing Cross get that.
Yep, so he did actually get all the chests, so he did not miss this one.
Glowing lamp, unfortunately not what we're looking for right now, because they need a broken statue to go with it.
Teleport.
Ooh, that's something they would have liked to find much earlier.
Yeah, so that's going to remove the need for warp boots basically for the rest of the game. And, you know, Cross finishing up the rest of the wind cave here. Gozen making quick work of Mado 1.
Go for his trouble, which is Cross
Thanks.
though in that extra chest in the vampire cave.
Yeah, on top of being actually a useful spell, because it allows you to paralyze enemies so that they become free kills, it also gives you an extra check. If they get their hands on the love pendant, then they're going to be able to make that check in Swamp. This vampire, meanwhile, giving him the business.
Burns an opal statue.
Well, if you're asking directly about progression, we had a question in chat as to who's actually in the lead. Technically, as far as progression is concerned, Gozen has more items required for Go mode, but if you notice the numbers there to the side of where their level is, Cross has an extra 7 key items, and he's covered far more of the map at this point. So while, you know, Gozen has found a bow that Cross has not, Cross is going to be making a bunch of quick checks here, especially with those speed boots. He's not only going to catch up, but he's going to take the lead relatively quickly, I would think. Did Cross get the Bow of Sun, and I just missed it? I will mark that off. Which, if that is the case, and he does have the bow, he does. Okay.
His inventory.
So that puts him decisively in the lead. Absolutely decisively in the lead. Now, if Gozen decides to take a different path than what Cross did and makes an earlier check, he could easily retake. Kelbesk showing why he is the greatest linebacker the NFL wishes they had. Bodying him repeatedly and completely destroying.
Gozen grabbing his Sword of Wind out of the axe chest, skipping the second chest on the north side of that room. I'm not sure if he realized he missed it or not.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what was there. I want to say... Oh, never mind. No, he's not. He's going to actually just drop down, which is going to get him right next to it. And it's a Mimic, so it didn't matter anyway. That's actually an interesting routing decision. I've never thought about doing that myself before. I may have to make that play on myself in the future.
I may have to time that out, because I completely forgot that hole was even there.
Yeah, that's a strong play. I glanced away to see what was picked up from Kelbesk there on the top of the mountain. Cross does need to actually go back into the room with the Elder in order to get whatever the paralysis check is. Does not seem like he's remembered that yet.
He wants this prison item, and I don't blame him. This is another quick check.
Yeah, it's 2 screens out of the way. No big deal.
And I've forgotten the paralysis check a few times myself, so I can't fault him.
A warrior ring. That is an item that the earlier in the game you get it, the more useful it is. Especially if you get a Sword of Thunder early, because then, as we saw yesterday in the race, the racers are just going to murder every single enemy on every single screen, and levels are never a problem. Bow of
Moon at paralysis spot.
That's an easily forgotten location, as you mentioned, and that puts Cross at 3/4 of the way to go mode. All he needs at this point is the Bow of... Now, having both the Bow of Sun and the Bow of Moon is actually going to get them access to the final dungeon of the game, which is the Crypt, which does have 2 chests in it, and it wouldn't be the first time to see the Bow of Truth actually hiding out there in the Crypt.
Yeah, usually, like what I'll normally do when I find both bows like that is I will finish up whatever area I'm currently in and then just beeline for the Crypt in hopes that it's there.
So it looks like Kelbesk was holding Refresh, as I didn't notice Cross having that before, and he just made use of it right now.
No, Refresh was a while back, actually.
Oh, was it? I didn't see it.
However, did miss what Gozen picked up in the island cave here.
He got a tornado bracelet, and I think the other one was a mimic. Ooh, that's a tough death. So he is gonna have to go back through the caves again here, get that first chest, and then he's gonna have to go through to get the second one. So we're gonna Gozen not wanting to burn that opal statue, wisely resetting.
I do not blame him one bit for that. Opal statues are much more useful later on in the tower, or against bosses, or in situations where you just run into like 50 flail guys in the same room.
Like Cross.
Like Cross.
So this divergence here is going to show whether Cross either needs to go to Evil Spirit Island right now, or whether, you know, it really doesn't matter whether or not he makes his check early. If there's somewhere else that's going to hold his Bow of Truth. Well, it's definitely not there. That's a mimic.
And Cross only getting a medic alert for his trouble in that last chest on Saber North.
Boo. Oh, Cross never visited Joel. I just noticed that. He does not have that warp point on his map.
Right, he went around the island and just went straight up to Swan.
Yeah, so he's gonna have to hit Joel here real quick to open Evil Spirit Island. And he remembered that just now. Gozen using the Thunder Bracelet here to just annihilate the vampire.
That's always a good feeling. Unfortunately, Vampire coughed up nothing very useful.
Classic antidote. Chat's telling us that Kelbesk was holding a Fruit of Power. And as we know, Cross going and waking up the drunk to be rewarded with nothing.
Goes and finding yet another mimic here in the island fortress.
Uh-oh. Oh, he saved
it! Thankfully, with the flight spell, if you just hold the A button as you're starting to fall, it will buffer another jump. And you have just enough time to use a magic ring or a Fruit of Power to get your MP back up. And you can actually keep yourself from falling that way.
Definitely. Now, with that power ring and this flame bracelet, Sabera here is not going to last too long. And she's gone.
Shield ring. That's Not something you want to see late game.
Nope, nope, that's really not going to provide him with much. Clark, on the other hand, holding on to the Flute of Lime, this is going to give them access to the petrified people within the waterfall cave, which is one additional check on Stone Dakahama. Did Gozen not get the prison key? I'm kind of confused. Yeah, I was pretty sure he had the prison key too. It's an interesting move to go and activate that, because I guess he wants to go in from the front side as opposed to going in from the back side.
I mean, you can get the chests on the way up that way and just do Kelbask last. It's not that much different time-wise. I'm not really sure where Gozen's going right now. Oh! I look over and cross-product's getting bodied by a mimic.
Yep. That's that's the one I mentioned earlier there. Gozen, when he picked up that tornado brace, then got munched by a mimic.
Okay, so Gozen's going to get his speed boots.
Gonna be very happy to see these, but at the same time, he gets them 12.5 minutes later than Cross does, which, as I mentioned before, every minute that your opponent has the speed boots and you do not is a minute that you're getting further and further behind. So he has a fair amount of ground to cover here before he's going to catch up to Cross. Now, it's kind of deceptive when you look at what their scaling values look like, because even though Cross is only showing an extra 3 checks, he has covered far more areas simply because there's been so many consumables.
You know what 2 places we haven't seen yet, though?
Crystalis.
Yeah. Neither one of them has gone to either of those locations once they picked up the Sword of Wind.
Yeah, I've been kind of waiting on that myself, wondering here when we're going to see those 2 locations. Now, Fog Lamp is a 4-check cave. Carissa Plant is a 2-check cave, but it is half as long as Fog Lamp is. But now that they have the speed boots, I don't really see any reason not to go there.
Yeah, Fog Lamp, at least 3 of the checks are very, very quick within the first 3 rooms. The 4th one's a little more out of the way, but that's a check I would have been making a little bit sooner. In Cross's case, I would have been heading for the crypt, but...
Right. Yeah, as soon as I got both of those bows, that would have been my first play too. So let's go and see whether or not we're done. Because if you find that bow, the game's over for you. You're going straight for that final boss. This vampire. Cross choosing not to deal with the bats, and the bats dealt with him instead. Gozen wanting to use his speed boots here and just healing his way through the swamp.
I'm not sure if this is saving him time, primarily because it's causing a ton of lag to go with everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. But he does wisely put his gas mask back on before fighting the giant insect. And if he's using the Sword of Fire here, he has 1 more MP than what's necessary to just annihilate the giant insect. What are you doing, pal? He fired it the wrong direction!
He got hit and tried to correct, and unfortunately caused his shot to go left. I will say... Oh, that's actually an interesting way of doing that. He put on the power ring just long enough to get the damage bonus out of it and threw the gas mask on right after the fight.
Yeah, it works! And now he's going to warp back to Oak with the kid in his pocket.
I just noticed he doesn't have Bryn Mawr on his list.
No, he never went there. He went from Saber South into Amazonas and straight over to Oak. Cross, meanwhile, is heading over to get to Sabera, where he's going to find his Flute of Lime after killing her and talking to Clark.
Cross, however, does not have the bracelet, so technically, as far as he's concerned, she's not in logic.
Right, I've been trying to remember exactly where that flame bracelet was. Because Gozen got it really early.
Yeah, like he had. I mean, we were talking about all he needed was the Sword of Water, and he would have had all of Goa Fortress in logic.
Right. Ooh, burning another magic ring. Now, see, here's the thing. When Gozen did this fight, the fight was over in about 6 seconds. Cross, meanwhile, the fight is not only dragging on, but he's had to burn some additional resources. So, definitely not having that flame bracelet, showing what happens to these bosses when you get when you get to higher scaling value.
You have simultaneous boss kills there. We got Gozen taking out Vampire 1, and Cross getting his less than stellar item from Sabera 1.
Gozen throws away a Fruit of Repin, only to be rewarded with a Fruit of Repin, which he throws away. So now Cross isn't sure exactly where he wants to go. He does have paralysis, so he can do the Swan check, and he has the Flute of Lime, so he can do the Waterfall Cave check, and he opts to go straight to Swan.
Not a bad choice. This is a relatively quick check. Looks like he accidentally paralyzed Stom there.
Smooth.
Onyx statue.
That's an extra turn in, and I would go and do it right away as well. Well, that's a useful item.
It's a useful item, but that's not what he wanted to find.
You know what? Now that I think about it, that's actually a bug. That needs to be fixed. Opal statues are not supposed to be on NPC turn-ins because they're supposed to be in there with the items that you can never lose due to having a full inventory. And so I'm going to need to mention that to Steve so we can get that fixed because Akahana should not be holding on to an opal statue there. That's a good thing to have seen because that's now something we could fix. Always improving the rando every day. Boning out from the fight as well now. Gozen is going to get himself a Psycho Armor here. Something else that you would like to see really early in. And I think he's going to make his play. No, he's going to the Waterfall Cave, it looks like. Looked like he was going for Swan for a second there, but
he talked on. I think he's going Fog Lamp. Yeah, he is. He's going Fog Lamp right now.
That's good. That's 4 checks.
This is uncharted territory. Cross has not been here yet.
Absolutely. Yeah, now Gozen just needs to, go and check the top of Mount Saber, and he'll be ready to get his Bow of Moon too.
Meanwhile, Cross is going to climb all the way up Hydra and grab the couple of items you can't get without the Wind Sword, and the one on top that requires flight as well. Burning another magic ring, though.
And he gets a medical herb out of the first chest on the ledge there. Not exactly what he was looking for, but you know what? Hey, he can make use of it at this point.
So we have an almost Fred moment here. Fog Lamp was in Fog Lamp Cave, just in the wrong chest.
Man, Gozen living dangerously here. This bird is about to make him pay.
Oh, he saw it coming. He had that medical herb ready.
So now we get to see what's at the top of Mount Hydra here. We got 2 more checks over on Cross's side as soon as he crosses through this room. Gozen, meanwhile, making his way to the final chest in Fog Lamp. Cross gets a Dio's pendant. He would have loved to have seen that earlier in the game. That saves you so many rings. Oh, and it's a mimic at the top of the...
Yeah, Dio's pendant is another one of those accessories that loses value the longer in the seed you go.
Yeah, now, I won't say that there hasn't been plenty of seeds where I'm, you know... Hi, Bert. Plenty of seeds where I'm running out of magic and I need like 3 more MP to get teleport, and I'll just throw it on at the end of it.
Oh, there's another one right after the first one.
Wow. Bert and his brother Bert both hanging out at the back of Fog Lamp Cave. Now, I'm kind of surprised he didn't just bury her and walk on by.
Oh, there it is!
Bow of Truth on Gozen's side. If he decides to go to the top of the mountain and fight Kelbesk, he will be in Goma.
So I will say right now, I would have lost this match because I would have boned out of, I would have just taken off out of Fog Lamp.
Yeah, that's not the worst play you could make, but Gozen is making the play right now. We may have just seen the lead change. Cross is going after Kelbesk 2 here in Goa Fortress, which is the only boss we haven't seen anybody fight yet. And while it's a pretty relatively quick kill, this is costing him time. Gozen's going to find that Bow of Truth, and this is his race to lose at this point.
Gozen's wisely making a checkpoint right inside that door there. Has barrier ready to go. All these projectiles are like harmless with that, and he just tears through Kelbesk. Now you just have to remember not forget the paralysis spot.
Or, you know, forget the paralysis spot.
No, Gozen!
Gozen, go back! Do it! Just go back! Cross taking on Kelbesk 2. Gonna get a Shell Flute. Completely worthless at this point. Well, actually, it was completely worthless from the second that he got his hands on the flight spell and had to cross the ocean at the very beginning of the game.
Looks like Gozen is going back up. He might have just remembered that he forgot the paralysis spot.
Yep.
He is going to get it. Boom! Gozen now in the lead. He is immediately heading to Sabera. He is ready for endgame.
At this point, he's hit bow mode! And this is, he's at level 10 with 43 scaling. I'm not going to be surprised if we see him grind up to 12 here. He did grab that warrior ring, which is going to make it really easy for him to grind if he can find some decent enemies to kill. Not this cave. No, go find something else to kill. Butterflies and shadows. No thank you.
Cross is making the check I think you and I both would have made a lot earlier. He was going to go check Crypt to see if this is where Bow of Truth's been hiding out.
Definitely. But it looks like he's a little lost right off the bat. Heading off to the left, which is just a dead end. There really is only one path through the crypt. And the only real fork either leads to a chest, a very minor detour to a dead end, or takes you straight to the penultimate final boss. Gozen, meanwhile, doing the grinding like I mentioned, this is not a surprising play at all. I am kind of surprised to see him not using Thunder here, because everything in this hall would be vulnerable. And utilizing the Warrior Ring, he could have walked up and down there and just grabbed a couple of super quick.
Just looking at it, looks like he's just good with level 11.
It looks like it. That mushroom trying to make Cross eat shiitake there.
I mean, oh, that Warlock just popping up immediately almost took him out.
Yeah, those things do. You're gonna die, Dan.
Yeah, I can't say I disagree with him doing it at 11. With Power Ring and level 3 charge shots, this isn't that difficult of a fight, even at level 10, so there really isn't a lot of grinding necessary. If he didn't have the Power Ring, I would absolutely agree with going all the way to 12.
Yeah, no question. Cross is not sure where that last check is, it looks like. Getting a little confused here. We know this isn't the right play, as Gozen here, taking on Dragon 2. So what he's trying to do here is he's trying to get him to run to the bottom after shooting the balls off like he did, and he got a dead frame there on his barrier, which caused that ball to hit him. If he fires off the balls and then runs to the bottom of the screen, he's going to do a longer set of lasers, which actually allows you to get 2 full thunderstorms in. Gozen was a little slow on that second shot, but it shouldn't be a big deal here. He'll take him out as soon as the next set of lasers goes off.
What he's hoping for is a short laser. He's pinging off the wings in hopes of getting his position correct. Manipulating this fight's a little bit tricky, and it's really difficult to keep track of once the fight has started. You have to pay attention to how many times you've taken hits, how many times you've pinged off the wings. It looks like it doesn't really matter because Dragon goes down without too much trouble.
Yeah, it did cost him a ring, but yeah, not that bad. There's actually a position in which you can stand. You can walk down into the HUD and hug the bottom right corner when you walk straight down after triggering the fight. And there's a tile that will actually get you on the correct position. So what the game's doing is it's checking for your X and Y position. It's looking for both of them to be even. And if it is, then there's a 50% chance with every action that Dragon takes that he's going to shoot lasers. Or if he fires the balls off, then there's a 50% chance he's going to run to the bottom of the screen. But only if you're in the correct position. Otherwise, the game's, it doesn't give you nearly the percentage chance. I don't know what the actual value is. Gozen opting for fire strats over thunder. I guess he just realizes he doesn't have a lot of mana, and it's not the worst play.
No, fire I would say is the second best element to be using here. It's actually especially effective against those helicopters.
Yeah, definitely. He's having a little trouble here with the robots. They're kind of running around like idiots, so he's not able to get them piled up for monster damage, which is what he's hoping.
Well, the other problem with using fire is that the ring will kind of bounce them around a lot, and if you have them too close to the edge of the screen, it'll just push them right off the edge, and then they don't take any damage at all. So he's trying to make sure they're on screen, but not close enough that he's going to take a hit the moment they get bounced towards him.
Right. Yeah, I think every one of us has died at least once to that. He was trying to push that guy down the stairs, but he had a level 3 charge on, which caused him to then fire off that. He was able to push the other brown robot down the stairs. Took a fair amount of damage for it, but that just makes it so he doesn't actually have to kill him. Because once they exit the screen there, then they're actually considered out of combat for the purposes of, the way the trigger works. Basically, the way these screens work is that the white robots are actually inside the doorways and hidden. And what happens is that when the brown robots die, it triggers the white robots to spawn. And when the white robots are all dead, then the stairs to the next floor appear. And so, there's basically what they call a seamless screen transition in between the stairs every way, which separates each one of the floors as basically its own, screen, even though it's all a connected map. And, yeah, Bow of Truth was actually in the final chest at the very back of Fog Lamp Cave. In the normal fog lamp look. Cross-checking the Carissa plant cave. He's got one left. So he's finally going to find his bow here if he heads straight over.
Looks like Gozen's opting to try and not use any more mana right now.
I'm not sure where Cross is going here. Oh, I know what he's doing. He has the golden statue. So he's going to go and place that and try to calm the sea and see if his bow is there. Now, he mashed through the text and didn't notice that recover is what he's going to find here. So yeah, he's still going to be searching for that bow. He's got to be sitting there thinking, man, it's an hour and 17 minutes. No one's done yet. Where is this stupid bow? He's going to checkmate.
Oh, no, Gozen!
Oh, that's a third floor death in the tower. Oh, that
that
is the worst possible position that you can die.
He was so close.
Man. That one hurts. That one hurts bad.
This helicopter not giving him any space to work with right now.
Yeah, a lot of runners I noticed what if you could hug the bottom rail, that turret that's on the top, the one that killed him, they're off screen. They don't do anything. But a lot of players don't realize if you hug the bottom that they basically just become completely ineffective. This helicopter.
Unfortunately, that bottom rail does not help you against helicopters, and those are the real threats here.
Right. Cross is making his Flute of Lime check. I'm wondering if he just forgot whether he went to Fog Lamp Cave yet, or if he's just trying not to go there because he doesn't want to have to make that run all the way to the back.
I can't fault him for that. That chest all the way in the back is such a huge time sink to go get, and more often than not, it's not the item you need.
It is today.
Unfortunately for Cross.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing the numbers game, I'm in agreement. It's not the greatest check to make because it is out of the way, but unfortunately, like I said, we know it's the one place he needed to go.
It looks like that is where he is heading now. I mean, like I said earlier, I would have probably lost this race because I have a tendency to just come in, grab the first 3 chests, and then just peace out and not bother with that last one because of the huge amount of time it takes just to go get it. So I would have been leaving that one for super late and kicking myself for that reason. And I can't completely fault Cross for not getting this, for not coming here sooner.
Yeah, this is the equivalent of the Zelda 1 bow in level 7. That's what you're seeing here.
That's an awful one.
Yeah, having to go to the back of Fog Lamp, man. When he finds this bow, he's going to kick himself because he could have done this like 40 minutes ago. However, Gozen is really struggling with this tower. These robots and helicopters are giving him nothing to work with. And, you know, he's running out of resources here. We could be seeing another death. Uh-oh. Oh, no! Each one of these deaths that he takes is giving Cross the chance to catch up.
This is why Steve made a flag set specifically so you could practice the tower. We have basically it's a debug mode one that it gives you all the swords, gives you all the stuff you could possibly need, lets you set your own level, set your own scaling, and it has a wild war point right here at the beginning of the tower, so people can practice this individual section. Because this is a spot that's not the easiest to get through if you're a bit newer to the game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Cross meeting the Burt family here. There weren't 2 birds in that room. There were 4 birds in that room.
That was Bert, and Berta.
Bort. Berta was in another room.
Yeah, you're right. Bort is that cousin twice removed, thrice forgotten. Right. But makes an appearance today. Looks like Gozen's switching over to Warrior Ring strats, and but that helicopter.
So, Cross getting his bow. He's going to go make a quick heal here in Leaf. See if he can't pick up a few pairs of... Oh, no, he was actually looking for Fruits of Power, I think. Maybe Magic Rings, but finds no... Probably going to check Sahara. See if he can't get some resources here. He's got 10,000 gold heading into the tower. So, he's got plenty of resources to... There we go. Oh my god! 1,228 gold for each one of those Fruits of Power. That is brutal cost right there. I do not fault him for filling his entire inventory. He's got nothing else to use that money on at this point. fill your inventory, go to the tower. He could make a comeback right here. This race is nowhere near over. The tower is just giving Gozen no quarter.
Gozen opting to use Warrior Ring strats, which are ultimately a little bit slower than trying to use the Power Ring, but definitely safer. And I think he wants to save that MP for both Barrier and Refresh at this point.
I'm really surprised that he's opting to use Water and Fire with the Warrior Ring as opposed to Thunder. Thunder's going to give him a better spread, and it really helps when dealing with those.
Thunder does have the spread, but it doesn't have the rate of fire. Since you have to wait for all of the shots to disappear off screen, I think he wants to just try to make sure he can get things stun locked, which Thunder has a much more difficult time doing.
Well, I mean, he's trying to stun lock it, but, you know, you can see how these helicopters are just coming in at goofy angles, forcing his stun lock right out the door, and they're causing him to get, you know, killed repeatedly. And this is why helicopters in the tower are the worst things in the game. Like, look at that. That helicopter came in at the perfect angle to just go right underneath his Warrior Ring spam shots.
He's heading... Yeah, I was going to say, I expect to see a helicopter here real quick. Because they spawn a little bit above where that door is on the right side of the screen.
Oh, man. Gozen, be careful. Gozen.
Use Refresh.
Use your Refresh. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a ton of resources here, so there's still a good likelihood here that he could, you know, get blasted here in the tower. Forcing the robot down the stairs. He doesn't want to have to kill it if he doesn't have to. See, here's the thing. He's holding on to the barrier way more frequently than he needs to, and it's draining his MP, which is then giving him less to use, you know, as the tower goes on. Oh, hello, helicopter. Helicopter.
He's using it a lot when he's around that thing at the top because he doesn't want that thing blasting him like he did last time. Although now we're running into the problem. He has all six of the robots active at the same time, and those shots of his can only hit every 2 frames, and they can only hit one enemy at a time. So it's really difficult to stun lock like this. But it looks like he's going to get it this time.
Oh man, I was waiting for that helicopter to just come at the perfect angle there. Alright, okay. Well, he's through.
Thankfully, this room is also a checkpoint, so if anything happens during Dyna, he's not going to lose a ton of progress.
It is for now.
Meanwhile, Cross is opting to use lag storm strats.
Yeah, I would
definitely don't disagree with this, although Cross has way less MP to work with, given that he only has Fruits of Power to work with, which don't restore as much as a Magic Ring does.
Yeah, but he's got a full inventory full of them. He's got tons of MP ready to... Oh no! Gozen getting dead framed through the barrier. He doesn't have... Oh no!
He has one Magic Ring.
Oh my god. He's got 113 MP here to work with. If he gets dead framed on another projectile again, we could see the end of this.
He's going for the safe spot right in the middle. Oh, there we go. Gozen finishing it up. The dot done is in IRC, is finished with an official SRL time of 1:27.21.
Wow. What a race.
Cross not far behind. He's on the second floor. He's only got a few doors left to deal with here, and then the 2 doors on the 3rd floor. So it's not going to be much longer. We're going to see Cross finish this up.
Yeah. So Gozen taking the win here in week 1. What a what a great race this was, man. That Cross having, the advantage for the vast majority of this race, and Gozen just making the correct plays, which is not the first time this week we've seen this happen, coming from behind and taking the victory.
It looks like we do have a Gozen here with us in the booth. Gozen, congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
So, how about that tower?
So how about that tower? Let's see here. I had nerves going into the race at the start. And I'm just going to say you probably all saw that on the Dragon 1 fight. I kind of shrugged them off for a little bit, and then when I got the final bow and I looked over, they came right back. It's like, oh man, got up the tower, got into the tower, and you completely saw my nerves take over. It was so bad.
The tower was having none of it. It did not care what you were trying to do.
No, it did not.
So, Cross actually completely 100%ed the seed. He opted to just not check Fog Lamp till the last possible occasion.
Oh, wow.
He had control of this race for 3/4 of it, at least.
I completely agree with that. I lost so much time on Dragon 1, and I just went around to so many checks. I felt so far behind.
Sometimes all it takes is just that one lucky check.
Right. And, it's not the first time this week that we've seen, someone come from behind just by making the correct play and taking over a race.
I've been burned too many times by Key to Prison, and I said I'm going to check Fog Lamp Cave after finding the Sword of Wind so deep. I'm going to check Fog Lamp Cave and just work my way back, and if I don't find anything there, report back, check that prison right now.
So Cross entering Dinah, he's going to go for opting to destroy the turrets on the side. Not a bad move. It is going to make the fight considerably easier, and time is not really an issue for him anymore. I don't blame him for playing this.
I'm also pretty sure he doesn't know about the safe spot.
It is very possible. Cross has been away from the community for a while. He's been very focused on a couple of other tournaments that he was in. And so he made a recent comeback here and kind of just really picked up the game here in about the last couple of weeks. So there have been a couple of new strats that have been developed, really just in short time here that, he may not have been aware of. So I got to ask you, how did you enjoy at the beginning of the game seeing that you got access to Goa from the back, then you got the Sword of Thunder and the Ball of Thunder, then the Sword of Water and the Bracelet of Water, and then you got the Bracelet of Fire and the Sword of Fire, and so Goa Fortress was your playground at like 30 minutes in.
I got Flight and I went, okay, what can I wait? And I had to stop and think for like 3 seconds and go, where am I? Oh, the other side of the map. Okay. And like going in there, getting that, picking it up, it's like, okay, I can get down here. I can't get past Mayo 2 yet because no Sword of Water. Found water and went, is this really the logical play? We got Blizzard Bracelets so early. Yeah. And I kept checking one-offs here and there and couldn't find anything. And I just said, screw it. Went right in there and dove down as far as I could. Very happy to find that power ring, though. Super happy about that.
Yeah, that was a great find off of Mato, too. Believe it or not, by the time that you had gotten there and done it, Cross was about 10 minutes ahead of you, and he actually got the speed boots 12 minutes before you. So he flew around the map and got like all the checks done, and yet almost all of them were consumables. This seed threw more consumables at you guys than I have seen in a long time. It just, everywhere that you were checking was a consumable.
Yeah, I found so many fruits of Repun, and I was just sad when I got them every time. It was a lot of stuff. I'm pretty sure we probably hit, between both of us, we probably hit every consumable up to the point where I was in.
Yeah, I don't think there's a single location in the entire game that neither one of you checked. Every single spot in the whole game was checked, 100%.
I think Cross actually did hit every spot by himself.
Did he check back a crypt?
Yeah, he went to he had Bow of Sun and Bow of Moon. I mean, he didn't do the check early, but he did go and check Crypt to see if the Bow of Truth happened to be in there. And I think that was I can't remember what point that was at, but I mean, he was making the check. He did. I know he did make that check. We watched him do it.
Okay, yeah. I'm happy I got Bow of Truth because I X'd that play out. I'm sitting here going, where's my Bow of Sun? I want to check Crypt. And I'm sitting here thinking it's there the whole time. And when I got Truth, it was just a huge sigh of relief.
Yeah, I think the one spot, Cross is currently in the SpeedGaming chat. He was asking where Flame Bracelet was. I don't remember. It was really early in the run for Gozen, and I do not remember where he got it. But it was not on Tornell.
I had it before I checked Insect.
You had it like, you had it really early. You had it in the first like 25 minutes.
Water. Because Matt and I kept commenting on the fact that you had Fire and you had Flame Bracelet and you had Blizzard Bracelet, but no Sword of Water. And it's like, if he picks up the Sword of Water, that puts all of Goa in logic.
Yeah.
And it sure did. Yeah, Water was one chest away from being vanilla. That is true, Cross. Yeah, this was one of those races where it looked the whole time like, you know, Cross was just running away with it. You know, as he just kept clearing more and more and more and more of the seed. And when he actually found the Bow of Moon at the top of Mount Saber North, way before, you know, a lot of other things. And we just kept going, oh man, if he finds that truth, this one's done. And, you know, he, as we well know, he ended up going through and just missing the fog lamp cave all the way up till the very end, just choosing not to go there. Whereas that was a check you made before you found your Bow of Moon. You went there to fog lamp first.
Yeah, I tend to put off Saber North and the prison section. I put that off so hard. And even a practice run I did yesterday, I got the key early. I had Flood. I was doing all my other checks, and I said, okay, I need to stop putting this check off. And I went and I did it. And going to this race today, how I got everything, and it was just like, oh, look, sort of wins this deep. I'm just going to check those one-offs first, check those little groupings, and just try to do density checks as much as I could. And I said, Fog Lamp Cave is better. I'm going to do that. I can teleport back and then go to prison. And I'm really glad I did because it paid off so much.
Absolutely.
Sometimes that's all it's needed, is just making that one play that the other person didn't make.
Cross mentioning, go to prison.
I don't want to.
I always love how after doing Kelbesk, I think both of you did the exact same thing where it was, hey, go check the paralysis spot. Nope, we're going to go down the mountain and check this cave over here. And, oh, wait, we forgot that check. Let's go back up and check that spot after.
Yeah, I tend to do that a lot. In my practice yesterday, I didn't forget that. Today, obviously, I did. And I don't know if I like the routing better because you're already, like, part of the way through the cave going down, so I think I might just have to check that first, go down and go through the rest of the caves. That might be faster.
Well, I mean, if you're coming the vanilla direction and coming from the south side, then it makes sense to walk right into the back. But if you're coming from the back door, as soon as you kill the boss, just pop your nose back in because the trigger's right there, grab the item, and off you go back down the mountain at that. Either way, we had a lot of this run that was locked away. I mean, the Sword of Wind was deep. It required you guys going through a whole lot of stuff to get that key to Stixie, which, if I'm not mistaken, was in Sabera 2's area. So you had to do all of Goa from the back side in order to be able to get the key of Stixie to go and get the Sword of Wind in the Cave of Styxy, which literally opened the rest of the seed up.
Yeah. The entire time I'm sitting here diving Goa going, where's Styxy access? Where's my Styxy access? I knew something had to be there, because at this point, I'm like, it's the next largest check I had left, since I went and did, like, I got the sword, went and did Evil Spirit Island, and then just went back and did Styxy, and that's, like, where am I going?
So Cross is asking if Steve had nerfed flight so you can't hit. That change was actually made in the first couple of months of the randomizer. So that happened probably, I would say, about March of this year was when that actually was a thing that came about. And it's due to the fact that, you know, flight is already the strongest defensive spell, and it provides you with the most access to everything in the game. So the idea behind it is that it should not also be the safest offensive spell as well. So instead, it basically just removed the ability to stab anything that is not a, you know, that's not a flyer. You can actually stab things like mosquitoes and birds, things that are on the flying layer, but that's not particularly useful. Question in chat as to whether or not there will be another match. This is actually the final match for this week's round of the Crystalis tournament. Next week and the following week, we're actually going to have a 2-week week for this flag set, because a lot of people like to travel for, you know, the holiday, and so we want to make sure that everybody has, you know, an ample time to be able to get their match in. So there will be 2 weeks here for the next set of matches coming up.
However, on SpeedGaming itself, on this very channel, in about 1 hour from now, there's going to be a Super Mario Brothers Any Percent tournament, or Any Percent. This is Any Percent 2019. Not sure exactly what that means, but I'm guessing it's an Any Percent tournament. But that's going to be about 1 hour from now. Obviously, plenty of other things going on the other SpeedGaming channels if you want to check those out.
That is correct. There are events scheduled on SpeedGaming 1, SpeedGaming 2, SpeedGaming 3, and SpeedGaming 4 here over the next couple of hours. So, you know, be sure to check out all those channels. As always, we do thank SpeedGaming for hosting our tournament here and giving us the platform to be able to show off our skills and talents here. And, you know, thanks to our runners today. They put on a great race. Gozengatta, make sure to follow Gozen. Make sure to follow crossproduct as well. And, you know, I am Matrick alongside my co-commentator, Dragon Dark. And we're going to go ahead and sign off here today. Thanks, everybody, for coming out and watching. And we'll see you guys next week with more exciting Crystalis Randomizer tournament action. Thanks again.